When David got there, he was pulling them off, and that's the only reason that they didn't go. They were going to kill him, I'm just telling you. When they jumped on him and had Meisam was going down to the ground, he kept him up as long as he could, standing up off the ground. When they fell to the ground, Adrian, and I was just happening to be looking at him straight at his face, when Adrian reared back, kicking his heart, and he had boots on. It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. Blood was splattering everywhere. It was awful. It was so bad.
Now what caused everybody to stop?
The sirens, the police sirens. They didn't just stop, they ran for their bikes. They ran, every single one of them.
Alright, that's Jamie Lee, who watched her boyfriend get beaten down and kicked in the face by a biker gang in Augusta in 2016. She said they were going to kill him. The main culprit owns a familiar bar to many people in the area, the Loft of Augusta. Now, I'm Greg Rickabaugh, publisher of the Jail Report. I've got details on how that gang assault was resolved in court recently after lingering for 5 years. But first, let's look at this video from March 2014, just to show you what members of the Augusta area chapter of Steel Horsemen did when they found somebody not wearing their jacket, when they confronted Brian Newman outside Evans Cycle in Columbia County.
Right to wear what they want. This is American. Do you pay the bills for Georgia? Then it ain't your fucking town.
This is our fucking town. This is our club. Our club. This is our chapter.
You're right. This is y'all. No, this is everybody's town inclusive. It ain't just y'all.
It's not yours. It's not yours.
Dude. Whatever y'all say. I can tell you now, we ain't gonna pay much.
Alright, now clearly they were mad that Brian was wearing a jacket with Highway Gypsies and demanded he take it off. Brian's wife there recorded that video. That led to charges against several of the bikers in Columbia County. Now, fast forward 2 years later to 2016 when the Jail Report gave you this story. You see here, gang attacks biker over patch. After 5 years of lingering in the courts, the case has finally reached a resolution, and we've got the shocking outcome. But first, you are looking at Adrian Estrada there. You see him in the mugshot there, and you see him here from a photo in the case file from the court record that we got. And he is the owner of the Loft in downtown Augusta. Now, at the time, he was also a member of the Steel Horsemen, along with this guy, Frederick King. You see him right here in the mugshot. According to police, members of the Steel Horsemen found Meisam Shodja at the Silver Bullet on Milledgeville Road in Augusta on February 20th, 2016. Now you see Meisam right here in the photo. You see what ended up happening to him. But he was with the Loners Nomads biker group and was wearing their jacket. Now he had been friends with the Steel Horsemen. He'd even actually considered joining them. But he ended up going with Loners Nomads biker group and was wearing their jacket while hanging out at the Silver Bullet bar with his girlfriend Jamie Lee, who you heard from. And again, that's what happened to him there in that photo. Now, how did it happen? Several Steel Horsemen surrounded him at the bar and asked to talk. They were mad because he didn't have a, quote, support your local horseman patch on his jacket anymore. He had been wearing it, but he had taken it off. Didn't want to be associated with them anymore. When Jamie Lee came over and asked what was wrong, one of the bikers called her a bitch and told her to shut up. After telling them not to call her that, Shodja agreed to leave the bar. Now, as the video showed, members of the Steel Horsemen followed him and surrounded him. Soon, Adrian Estrada showed up, having been alerted to the biker's insult without the patch, and rushing there in his white truck. Now, what I want to show you here before I go on is the video from Silver Bullet. It doesn't show the attack, but it shows the angle right before it. And it's not very clear, but I'm going to walk you through it here. This is video from the court file. This is inside the bar down here, down below. up top left here, you see the bikers gathering and surrounding the victim in this case. And in a minute, you'll see over here, you'll see Adrian Estrada pull up in his vehicle. You'll see the lights from it. That's all you're going to see. And that's what prosecutors say was him arriving after being alerted to the problem. And there you go. That's the lights. That's all they could get from the cameras. He had been, again, the victim had been in this bar and had been confronted and taken out. So, but after that, they say Estrada jumped out and immediately punched Shodja in the face while others joined in, trying to get the victim on the ground. When they did, Frederick King was also one of those who punched Shodja. But even worse, Estrada kicked Shodja in the face with a motorcycle boot. That's why we see these injuries here on his face. Now, an off-duty officer was actually there and broke up the fight, and as you heard Jamie talk about, they fled after hearing the police sirens. Shodja ended up at Doctor's Hospital with a fracture to the right side of his face, extensive swelling, and large lacerations under his right eye and eyelid. The attackers also chipped 3 of his teeth. So what happened in the case? It took 3 years to indict the suspects, and the case went through 3 district attorneys before Jared Williams worked out a plea last month in September. He dropped all the gang charges and allowed both men to plead guilty to aggravated assault. Judge Daniel Craig took the plea and gave them both probation with first offender status. Let's look at this here. There's Adrian Estrada. He was originally charged with 3 counts of violation of street gang terrorism and prevention and aggravated assault. Here is the other guy, Frederick King. 2 counts of violation of street gang terrorism and 1 count of aggravated assault. Now, when you look at this, you'll see that finally, again, this was the offense date was February 20th, 2016. It was disposed over 5 years later on September 2nd, 2021, when they dismissed, that's what null pros means, dismissed all those gang charges and allowed him to plead guilty under the first offender status. And guess what he got? 10 years of probation, 300 hours of community service, no restitution, no fees. So that's what he got. Sir, here you see down here, 9/15/2021, served final disposition. You'll see his that he was not even indicted again until 3 years later. So oddly enough, the victim tells us he was just happy that Jared Williams did something with the case. For years he thought the case would be swept under the rug, and but he was just happy that in this case that something was actually done. And again, just to take another look, Frederick King here got 8 years of probation. He was actually ordered to pay $2,500 in restitution and do 200 hours of community service in that case and no fees. A case where the judge was Daniel Craig in that case accepted all that and let them plead out on that. And our understanding is that Adrian Estrada is still the owner of the Loft in downtown Augusta. Now, just to show you another few photos before we wrap this up, this is the victim, Meisam Shodja, with Jamie Lee. You can see here, it was taken soon after on his Facebook page, you can see his injury, trying to make the best of his facial injuries that he suffered under that case. And also, let's look at a few other photos. This is him, also from his Facebook photo before his injuries. And then also another few injury photos just to show you how bad that thing was. Just a really bad cut there from being kicked in the face. Now, they did a search warrant on Adrian Estrada's home, and here's a few things that they found in there. This is the one of the logos that he has on his, it looks like a refrigerator here, Steel Horsemen, that he has. So just a big part of that biker group. Here is a photo of one of the jackets they found in his closet that says the Loft of Augusta. One of the biker jackets that he has there, and then also this is the front of one of those jackets, property of Steel Horsemen, that he wear. Now this is, let me show you a photo of let's see, there's a photo of Meisam on his biker, just to show you he is a big biker fan and likes to do that, but just was not into the Steel Horsemen and was making his stand on that. and that's what happened with the assault. Okay. So that's the story I have today. What do you think? What do you think about the outcome, the probation sentence, taking 5 years to get a verdict in this case, and just the fact that it went through so many district attorneys before they actually did something in this case? Let us know in the comments section below, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more content. That's all we have for today. Have a good one.